Welcome, Queens, to another episode. I have a very, very, very special guest with me today. Most of you may know who she is already, but those that don't, I will just read a little bit about her. So I have Kim Mellor with me, and Kim is on a mission to help women to create freedom from the inside out so that they reach the fullest expression of their potential and become a magnet for miracles. Kim says that she's just an ordinary girl who decided to take one step every day in the direction of her dreams to become who she is today, a heart-centered, ambitious, fun-loving queen who loves herself and trusts life fully. So Kim is now on a mission to help millions of women around the world do the same. So Kim, welcome officially to the podcast.
Oh my goodness. I have been dying to come on your podcast. I feel so blessed that you have asked me. Wow.
Of course. And before we get into it, because I just assume that everyone's like me, when I'm listening to a podcast and they have a guest, I like to do a bit of a stalk on what they look like, what their vibe is. So can you share before we go into it, like where people can find you on social media? So if they want to like blatantly stalk you whilst we're doing this whilst they're listening, then that would be amazing.
I love that. So yeah, kimmellor.com, or on Instagram it's kimmellor_, so KIMMELLOR, or Kimberly Melons as my bestie Gina calls me.
I love that. Kimberly Melons, so cute. Right, I've just made my screen huge. That's better. Okay, so I have 10 random questions to fire at you first before we get into the nitty-gritty. So, number one, where are you from, but where are you currently living?
I'm from a small town called Stoke-on-Trent in England, and I'm currently living in Canggu in Bali.
Canggu, what a cool name.
Love it.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Chinese or Indian food?
Indian.
What's your biggest vision?
Oh my gosh, to inspire millions of people around the world to create their highest vision, freedom and choice.
I feel that. What would you say to your 20-year-old self? Because you're 21, so it's only a year ago, right?
I'll pay you later, love. 20-year-old self is be yourself, show up as you. There's only one unique you in the world, and just know that you have a gift and just share it with the world.
I love that. What's the most epic thing you've manifested up to date?
OMG. Bali in lockdown.
Yeah. I remember seeing yours and Kim post, and I was like, how has she just done that?
Can I just share like a quick 2-minute story on that? Okay, so me and my friend Gina came back from Ibiza. We went on a 10-week road trip when it was the summer lockdown, and then we got back and we had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And I had to stay in this Airbnb because I gave all my possessions away to charity and I had nowhere to technically live. So I sat in this red sofa in my Airbnb going, what are my next steps? Boris isn't letting us leave the country. I've got 2 weeks quarantine. And so I started to like envision my multi-millionaire self. And I was like, okay, who is Kim Mellor? What does she wear? How does she speak? Where does she live? And I started to visualize myself in this luxurious mansion in Bali, wearing all of these luxurious eco brands, slow fashion like Warriors of the Divine, Ananda Soul, Fluke the Label. And I made a vision board and I posted it on Instagram, and I was like, step into my multimillionaire self now. Because what I was doing, I was wearing clothes that were really old. And it was almost like scarcity of not wanting to save my good clothes for a nice occasion. And what I've realized is you don't create yourself in the future, you create your future self in the present. And so changing my mindset to being that person now changed everything for me. So I gave away all my clothes and I was like, right, this is multimillionaire me. And then 2 weeks later, I'm in Bali. I'm living in a villa, this 5-bedroom villa with 5 incredible women, and I'm doing a photo shoot 4 warriors of the divine, wearing Fluke the label and Ananda Soul. And I was just, I was literally in tears, crying, like I manifested this. And it wouldn't have happened. I'm just getting full body shivers, by the way. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't believe in myself and I didn't do the inner work.
Yes. Before, I know these are quick questions, but I need to go in further into this. How do you believe in yourself? So people that listen to this podcast, they're into personal development, obviously, already, but maybe some of them are at the start of their journey, they're struggling with food, that's why they listen to this podcast in particular. How do you start to believe in yourself? Is it just a matter of telling yourself you do?
Self-belief comes from taking action. A lot of people think that you need to have the confidence first, and then the confidence first, then but you have to have the courage that then allows you to take the action to be confident. So you don't have to be believing in yourself fully now. It's just having the courage to take that action. So maybe it's just getting a bit uncomfortable and doing a live on Instagram. Maybe that's your first step, and then it's like, oh my God, I did it. Yay. And so, you know, your audience might be looking at you, Victoria, thinking, oh my God, you're amazing. I can guarantee there's one point where you thought, who the heck am I? I am at rock bottom. Like, the only difference is we have just kept getting rejection and no, and we learn, and we treat every objection and challenge as an opportunity to grow. So yeah, it's the courage mixed with action, and that just kind of breeds and breeds and breeds. But when the more you doubt, the less you do, the more you doubt, the less you do. And so it just starts with that little seed of courage.
Oh, I love that so much. So just do it. Just do the thing, stretch yourself, but take care of yourself at the same time. Obviously, don't go into full anxiety, like panic attack mode. Stretch yourself. What was in that moment where you decided to step in and embody the multimillionaire version of you? What was the most uncomfortable part of that for you?
Being another version of myself, because I was so focused on the reality of what is. I didn't fully understand how you become bigger and better. I almost thought, oh, they just think they're amazing and they're too big for their boots. And actually, when I realized that people just believe in themselves before they get the results, and that's the key thing, is like just understanding that you've got to feel it before you see it. You've got to believe it before you see it. You know, we have 90,000 thoughts a day and 70% are negative. So we have to reprogram our mind with the visions of how we want to be and step into that feeling.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things to do, and I try not to do this too often, because of course if we keep writing down our vision, it's almost like, come on, I've wrote it down, like why isn't it here yet? You don't have to keep asking. But I do it once a month. I write down my life in detail as if it is already how I desire it to be. Not want, desire. I'm going to correct myself there. How I desire it to be. And that is so fun, because it gets so exciting. Like I'm excited because I know it's going to be a reality someday. So that's exciting.
And this is the thing, it's like, where are we trying to get to? You know, the day I stopped looking for this destination, and I hear it all the time with people that I kind of see and have around me, is they talk so much about the future and the vision, or like, when I retire, then I'll. And the thing with that is, like I said, the future is only created in the now. And so all you have is the now. And so you have to enjoy the journey, because there is actually no destination. Yeah. You will not get anywhere and go, oh my God, I've made it. It's like, even now living in Bali, like 2 years ago, this would have been a destination for me. And now I'm here. It's like, yeah, I've expanded into this. And now it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, so yeah.
That landed so hard. Like, you never actually get there because, like you say, you've expanded again. And when you get to there in your vision now, you'll expand again, and you'll keep seeing bigger and better visions for yourself. And I just love that. And we've got to get used to never being there, loving the journey.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, you know, within my business, there's different levels and different titles. And for so long, my identity was external because I was a model for X amount of years. So when I started my business, I still had the identity of that title meant that I was worthy. And so for the first 5 years of my business, I was striving and striving. I even called my team Strive Nation, and everything was about striving and like getting to this hustle. And it was just so out of alignment. And it took me longer than what I thought to get there. And I started to doubt myself and feel unsuccessful and not feel worthy. And that sent me on a spiritual path of actually uncovering, okay, who is Kim Mellor without the title? Who is she without her model looks? And actually, when you detach yourself away from things that can change, that's freedom. Because on the outside can change. So what happens when your Louis Vuitton handbag goes missing that you pride so much and makes you feel worthy? What happens when, you know, the friendships that, you know, you relied on to make you who you are kind of disintegrate? Like, where are you and who's left?
That is so freaking powerful. So powerful. Oh, I love it. I've got questions to come around your hustling to where you are now. So get ready for that. So we have, where am I? 3 left. These are short ones. Weights or cardio?
Wait.
Night owl or morning person?
Morning person.
Me too. And I am so grateful that you're here, Kim, but why did you say yes to chatting and sharing your message today?
Oh, because you are just serving the world in a big, incredible way. I'm obsessed with you and who you are and who you're becoming and the women you're serving. And if it wasn't for you, so many women just would not have the love, the self-love, the acceptance of what they're going through, someone to speak to. And I want to be a part of that journey.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you. All right. So for those very minute people that don't know a little bit about your background, can you share with us how you are the queen that you are today and continuing to step into the better version of you? What's your journey? Like, where are you from? How did you get to where you are now?
Wow, okay.
In like 15 minutes or so is fine.
Please just like butt in if you want to like go deeper on anything. Just say, Kim, right, go deeper on this. It's so bizarre because I think even a month ago I'm a completely different person. So I think the past 6 months have just really sped up in Bali. But okay, I started life as just a really excited kid. Didn't know who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be free and have fun. And then I was really good at sports. So I did swimming and horse riding and gymnastics, like all the things. I'm pretty sure it was just to keep me off the streets. And I got this real competitive drive from that, I think. You know, my mum and dad were also very working class. So I kind of wanted to make them happy by getting a normal job. And I thought, right, I'm going to go to college, go to university, be a teacher. And I was looking at their lives and I was like, they're working really hard and we have everything that we could have ever wanted. Like my mum and dad provided so much, but do I want to be working myself literally into the grave? And I wasn't surrounded by entrepreneurs. It wasn't like an online space then. It was like people actually spoke without phones and played outside on the swings and were drinking, you know, cider. What was it called? Hooch.
Gosh, because we're similar. I think you're a little older than me, but we're similar age, and I totally remember all of that. Although I was at the stables most of the time, missing the hooch. My sister was with the hooch gang.
Hooch, I love it. That was a bit like Gooch.
It does, doesn't it? Oh, it's epic. It was basically just sugar and alcohol in bright colours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I went to a school and did some work experience for like a day, and I was like, ooh, this isn't for me. And in the background I was modeling. I've been modeling since probably the age of 15, very shy. I had like cold sores in my mouth. I was just like, oh my god, like I was even afraid to tell my boyfriend I was a model. My mum had to actually burst into the room and show him my photos like a year into the relationship. Wow. So I was really shy, wasn't sure of myself, but I did love this kind of modeling way of expressing myself. And of course with modeling, there's ups, there's downs. The ups were, you know, being self-employed, getting to kind of have fun and meet different people. But the downside is being judged for what I look like on the outside, sorry, going to castings with my friends like Gina and other friends and thinking one person has to get this job. Who's it going to be? So there's no real sisterhood there, because it's like dog eat dog, gossipy, competitive. But I loved it. It was something different every day. I loved the variety of it. But ultimately, if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. So, I couldn't really see this life of freedom because I was attached to actually working to get paid. And I was, how do people create freedom and have fun and travel around the world and live life? And I just didn't have a clue how that was. So I managed to kind of realize that I didn't want to go down this traditional route of having a job, and self-employed life kind of was wearing off a bit. I was 28 at the time, and that's like the Saturn return. I had a really, really incredible penthouse apartment in Leeds. I had a partner, happy, going out every weekend, full wardrobe of clothes, but an empty life. Lots of situationships and friendships that were kind of surface level. And I just really started to crave more. It's like I've always had this whisper, and you've probably had the same from like a young age, of knowing that you were a little bit different, knowing that there was more. And then that whisper became so loud. And I think I was trying to numb out the whisper with alcohol and partying and people. And I couldn't hear my intuition because I was just in that. So 28 years old, my friend called me one day and said, I've got this business. I think it's going to be really great for you. And he shared it with me. And it was my Arbonne business that I absolutely love today. And that was nearly 9 years ago now. And for the first time ever in my life, I could see beyond the limits of what was in front of me. I could see this life of no limitations, of community, of sisterhood, of this mission, this movement that was bigger than me. Modeling was all about me, and that made my world small. And I had this desire to make an impact. Like you are, we want to leave this ripple of impact, and your listeners listening now, I bet you want to do the same.
Yeah.
And it was this ability to be able to impact millions around the world and lift the vibration of the planet. And so I jumped all in, and I said yes. And like I said before, I was still very much externally focused, validating myself with, the car that you earn at the third level, and the status and the clothes and the money. And that was everything I ever wanted. And then I got there, and it was maybe the 5th year in, I had what's called a dark night of the soul.
Oh yeah, I've had one of them.
You've had one of them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and just know, guys, that with lightness comes darkness, and that's how we grow. You can't have one without the other. So I remember I was on a modelling job in Glasgow, and I was really tired. I had a little nap, and then I woke up, and my auntie had called me 10 times, and I was like, oh shit, what's going on? And she called me and just said, your mum's died. Now, it was like off a movie. My whole body went into shock, and I was like, what do you, she just had a brain hemorrhage and died. And yeah, it was just an absolute ground shaking moment in my life that I believe she passed to awaken me and to bring me closer to my dad. But yeah, very, very painful. And then I lost my driving license, the thing that I was going for, this car, this incredible symbol of success. Lost my driving license because my mum used to look after everything for me. She did everything. So I had no idea when my insurance expired or whatever. So, I ended up losing my license, and then I invested, tens of thousands of pounds into an investment, like my life savings, that was just a scam and went basically tits up. So that year was my spiritual awakening for sure, but it was happening for me. And I believe that not everything happens for a reason, but we can find meaning in what happens, and it's all helping us to etch the edges of our diamonds to make us shine brighter in the world.
Did you know at the time that it was? Was you in the mindset of this is happening for me, or did you have to do some work around that? Was you in victim mode at all?
Oh God, yeah. My mum was definitely. I mean, I really went through the grieving process and took a month off and just felt it and sat with it and came to the realization that, you know, that's the way that she would have wanted to go. No fuss, no drama, really quick, right? I'm needed elsewhere. And now actually I know I've been speaking to her through Reiki, that she's helping other people to transition on the other side. She's just like, yeah, I'm great here. I'm having a great time. I'm like, perfect. The money thing was big because I was so attached to money. I can imagine having tens of thousands that you've saved and then all of a sudden it's gone. I was blaming the other person, and it held me back in my business and my life for many, many years, until I started to do the work deeper on myself to realize that we are all responsible in some way. Even if it's like 1% my responsibility, I need to take that and own that. And as soon as you can take that ownership of your life, oh my God, you're so free. Like, you can never, ever let anyone take anything away from you, because you have your resiliency and your bounce back from that.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you think about one of those like Weeble things, like if something that you really value knocks you off for that long, like, why is that? Like, do you really need that? Surely it's just what you have inside. And that's the thing. I could lose everything tomorrow and I know I'll get it all back because of who I am and because of who you are as well, because we do the work, right? And so here I am now in Bali a few years later. About 16 months ago, a picture flashed up, and it was a picture of me in my old apartment in Liverpool, really grubby carpet. My laptop was on a metal bin upside down. There was dirty washing everywhere. And I compared to where I am now, and it's like, wow, this is what happens when you fully choose yourself. Because I was in a relationship that I wasn't being myself in. I wasn't honoring boundaries. Again, lots of money lessons were learned there. And ultimately, I decided to choose myself. And that can be called selfish, but I'm not going to live someone else's life for them. And it was really hard because the relationship was okay. It went through some ups and downs. It was okay. Nothing was wrong with it. But I knew I deserved to live this incredibly nourishing, flourishing, abundant life of a queen. I didn't know the steps though. And so a lot of people are afraid of taking that leap because they're scared of, but how do I do it? How do I get there? And I can remember having a reading with a psychic, and she said, just trust me, like, where you're going to be in a year's time is going to be magical, but between A and C, it's going to be messy. But the mess is going to be the message. So, and the mess is the message. I'm going to keep everything clean, like Monica off Friends. Get messy with it. Get messy with it. Na 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 na.
Oh, wow. I want to share something about that. Someone shared this with me before. You know, if you get in your car now, imagine that you're back in Leeds, because I can't really envision Bali because I've not been, but you get in your car and you've got to go to, let's say you're going from Leeds to Derby to come and visit me when I'm in England, and you get in your car and there's country roads, so and it's in the dark, so you get in your car in Leeds and you come to Derby. You can't see my house in Derby when you get in your car. Like, if you've seen it before, you can envision it, but if it's dark, all you have is your headlights and a few feet in front of you, and you just trust that your car and the lights and the sat nav, the Google Maps, is going to bring you to my house. So when you just spoke about choosing yourself but not having an effing clue what next, how next, and how it's even going to all work out for you, that happened to me with I've been engaged before, and he was a really nice guy. He didn't do anything wrong. On paper, it was like a really nice relationship. I could tick all the boxes, blah blah blah. And that whisper that you spoke about before, something was like, you're made for more than this. And I was like, I'll break his heart. And I just did it. I broke up and said, look, it's not you, it's me. And I really meant that. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I had not got a frigging clue where I was going next. But I trusted myself, and I didn't even know what the word intuition meant then. I just felt something. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew that I needed to do this thing in order to go to the next place. And I'm just so grateful that I did. So anyone listen, if you have a niggle, it's always going to be a niggle and it will get louder and louder, but just trust yourself that that is the way to go. Like I always like to say that your heart, your intuition is like Google Maps for your life, for your soul. So just tune into Google Maps, which is your heart, your intuition, and then just go whatever way, even if it makes no sense. Do it.
Okay, so just touching on that, because the word intuition to me was like this concept of, yeah, my intuition, da, 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 da. And quite recently I've been using it in my business in this new paradigm of entrepreneurship, is like tapping into intuition. But I never had like a structure to like, okay, well, what does it feel like? How do I know? How do I operate? So now I've got a bit of a structure for intuition. It's like so liberating. So like your listeners might be thinking, okay, what's the difference between intuition and just a thought? And just feeling, how do I act on that? And I think it's all about having a really clear relationship with whatever you want to call the higher power, the spirit, the universe, God, goddess. Really feel and journal, what are the characteristics of this energy that you can rely on that's always supporting you? Like, what's your connection with it? Because people find it hard to trust when they don't have a good relationship. They don't know what they're trusting. They don't know what they're surrendering to. So like some people are like, oh, and I'm afraid to surrender because they haven't got a good relationship with it. And so just journal on what is this entity? Like, how do they serve me? Like, are they a bit sassy? Like, girl, you got this. I've always got your back. Don't you worry. And that's a really fun thing to do.
How do you feel you're into, because everyone's different as well, aren't they? I remember I was on a call with Gina, obviously your bestie, one time. I joined her 12 Steps to Self-Love, of course. And then with that, I got a half-hour call with her, which was amazing. And I said to her, you know, when you're manifesting, when you're connecting to the divine and all these things, are you asking yourself, as in tuning in, or are you asking like the higher power? And she just went, what's the difference? And I was like, oh, yes, what is the difference? Because we are the higher power, but everyone feels it differently. How do you feel that?
I get this just knowing feeling. So like, it's almost like, okay, I'm going out for dinner and I'm like, okay, this Gina uses this all the time. She's like, okay, do I want to have the pizza? Oh, I really want the pizza now. How would I feel after? I might feel good. I might feel a bit bloated. What impact does that have on me? Okay, maybe I want to have the salmon with the potatoes and that's going to feel better after. And so it's just like tuning in to your higher self and just thinking, does this feel like I've already done it in the future? Because essentially it's like we're just remembering the future. It's funny as well because like I honestly, from about the age of 12, I've always kind of expected to get a phone call that my mum was going to die.
Really? Oh my God, I've just got a cold shiver. Wow. That means that source is speaking to me. So maybe your mum's coming through me and just being like, yeah, you know.
Margaret, hiya. Yeah, and she was always kind of getting her life ready to go early, and I kind of picked up on that, and God rest her soul. Yeah, I wish I would have known that and actually really been around people who talked about it, because we all have this within us. It's not a gift that's given to special people, but we're just so numb with like TV and school and learning about Spanish. And I've never used Spanish or German. Like, I can't remember any of it. And so imagine if we, like your podcast, this incredible work that you're doing, like we all start to like believe more in this stuff, we can transform our life a lot quicker. And I would have been able to maybe be more present with my mum instead of being like, oh, you know. But it's all perfect, it's all divine, and yeah, that's the thing. It's just trusting the process of life is one of the most powerful things that will allow you to get from where you are to where you want to be. The reason why you might not be where you want to be is because you're just not jumping and trusting the net will appear. Like any entrepreneur has to jump and the net appears.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And if you're listening to this and you have a job and you're an employee, ask yourself, that's, by the way, it's great if you're an employee, like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but are you relying on the guaranteed income? Are you relying on just seeing what you can see? Or are you wanting to step into the unknown and maybe start your own business, start a podcast or something? Because it's all a mindset shift.
Absolutely. And I remember when I first started my own business, and my mum is my biggest cheerleader, and she always have been. And even throughout the abusive relationship, like my dad disowned me, my friends disowned me, and rightly so, because, you know, I had nothing to do with them because of the abuse and all those things. But I knew in my heart and in my soul that my mum was waiting, and I feel emotional now, she was always waiting for me, and I knew she would be there for me no matter what. And it was her love that allowed me to leave. And that is so powerful. I don't know where I was even going with this. Oh yeah, this was it. When I first started my business though, because of course she wanted to protect me, she was saying, you know, are you sure, because you don't get a regular income, and you never know, and what if? And then it's that saying, like, you know, what if I jump and then you fall, but then what if you jump and then you fly? Like, oh, and I'm so blessed that, you know, with my mom and my dad and my fiance, like, I always did have a backup. So again, I understand that I was in that, like, I was never going to be homeless, or I was never going to be able to, like, I would always have food on the table kind of thing. But even so, and this is my journey, so I'm not making that smaller than it is, but I had to make a lot of internal shifts to start my own business and believe in myself. And a lot of the work I've done, and I'm sure you've experienced this yourself and with the clients you work with, is unlearning loads of shit, like unlearning, you know, stuff that we've learned throughout our lives, like, not as a woman, not embracing our emotions as our superpower, but trying to keep ourselves, oh, I don't want to be too much or too naggy or too like, no, like, just express yourself. But it takes a lot of unlearning to get there, I think.
I love that. Yeah, because if you think about a baby's born, they run around naked, they don't care, they literally can see spirits. They're just like, oh, did you see that, mummy?
Because and then like, don't be silly.
Yeah, because they have got no perception of right, wrong, good, bad. They're just like, and their dreams are so big, and then we go to school, and then we're surrounded by the wrong kinds of people, and then we're conditioned, and then blah 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 blah. And so yeah, it's less about becoming, it's more about being more of who you already are. So imagine this higher self is within you, bursting to get out, but you've got these layers of armor. And then, you know, listening to like this podcast might shed another bit and another bit, and then it might come back a bit, and then it's like, whoa. But you will never retract back to where you were once you start expanding. And so just growing and growing and growing, and then you might get, and then okay. So, you know, expanding, learning, growing is the best investment you could ever make. And that's why I'm so passionate about investing yourself. Like, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't invest tens of thousands of pounds in myself. But I didn't used to have the money to be able to do that. But that was
you lost it as well.
I lost it.
So not only did you lose that, I mean, you know, not comparing you to someone else, but maybe the old Kim, who wasn't learning the lessons and seeing life was happening like to her, not for her, she might have invested that and thought, screw this, I'm not investing again, I'm playing small to protect myself. Like, that was a huge choice you made to continue to step forward into your higher self and to choose faith and freedom without even knowing that wasn't going to happen again. That took a lot of courage, a lot.
Faith and freedom.
Faith and freedom.
Yeah,
I can't say that. Freedom.
Yeah, and that's just because I really understand money now. Like, I feel like I have this love affair with money. I love money. I used to think it was like, okay, rich people were arrogant, you know, not nice people. You can't have money and be a nice person. But now I'm like, no, the universe and money, like, the more money you have, the more impact that you can make. So my relationship and the energy around money is just, it's abundance. And abundance is every time you spend money, oh my God, this is helping someone to survive. Oh my God, I'm going to tip someone because that's going to make them happy, and ripples of joy. If you get a bill and you're like, oh God, I've got to pay this bill. It's scarcity. And it's really, I've noticed, like, I don't actually look at my bank account anymore. And I used to be obsessed about, oh my God, looking at my bank account. And of course, what you focus on expands. So you focus on scarcity, you get more scarcity. And so focusing on abundance. And but by the way, if anyone's listening to this, please, 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 please take on this piece of advice before you get to 37 years old and actually start doing it. Look after your money. The money that you get right now is not all yours. Like, if you're self-employed, you have to save at least 20% for tax, 10% for investments, 10% for saving. And if you can save that money from your wages or your income every single month, that is a really good habit to start. Even if you save 10% into a savings account from now till the day, you know, you retire or pass away, that's going to be a really good thing.
Yeah. It's like, I love the word you use, relationship, building a relationship with money. From the help of my fiance, I have, like, every month, he does it every 2 weeks, but that's not aligned for me. So every month I sit down with, like, my candle and my goddess music, and I go in my little spreadsheet and I have, like, little different money pots. So I've got so much percent for the tax, of course, so much percent for investments, business profit, my little salary that I like to give myself, all those things. And then, of course, if my income is lower than usual, it gives me a bit of a kick up the arse to maybe take even more aligned action, or to surrender and be like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. But then also, when I do make a larger month, I'm kind of like, oh, I've got all this excess to put in my savings or in the wedding fund. And I used to hate looking at money and numbers. I used to get so mardy, English word. Do you know what the word mardy means? Like grumpy kind of thing. Yeah. When people used to ask me about money, and I just had this yucky energy around it, because in the past, when the abusive relationship, it was always taken off me. I had to go on job seekers allowance, get on housing benefit, and then give him the money. It was just awful, and there was lies involved in everything. And then when I started making my own money after I left him, I had bailiffs knocking on the door. He'd used my name, and I'd got like over £10,000 worth in debt. So all that money got taken away that I had to pay off. And so anything that I used to get, I was like, my subconscious mind was like, don't take it away from me. Like, don't ask me about it. Like I was trying to like hide it from people because I didn't want it taken away from me. But now, you know, when I pay someone, like you said, if I pay for a bill, someone's benefiting from that. If I want money to flow to me, I have to allow my money to flow. So it's all energy, and it's all it is a neutral resource that we can demand, or demand's a bit of a strong word. We can request what we want or what we desire and just get ready to receive, as long as taking inspired action comes first, like you said.
Yeah, do you remember when you bought the 30 days and then you had to pay like the extra shipping, and it was like maybe like £80 more than what you thought you'd pay, but you gave it more attention because you paid more, and you just felt amazing, didn't you?
I was like, do you know what? For the first 5 seconds, I was like, victim, why has this happened? Like, I've paid more for the tax and the shipping and the actual product. And then I was like, do you know what? This is actually funny because it's all meant to be, and it's going to, you know, encourage me to really put value in this process. And it did, and still continues to, and I feel amazing. And so everything, like you said, everything happens for us. I could have been like, well, that's a load of rubbish, send it back, like whatever, because I was annoyed that I've had to pay more. But that's going to get me absolutely nowhere. And I choose if it serves me or not. No one else can just come and save me or rescue me. It doesn't work like that. As much as I've spent like 30 years of my life waiting for a man on a white horse to come and give me the life I've always wanted, it doesn't work like that. Kimmy, how did you go from, because I know you shared a lot on your social media, from you, I mean, you're always stepping into the highest version of you, but from micromanaging the universe, your words, to being in full pleasure, surrender, the more fun I have, the more money I make. Can you talk around your transition into that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's only something I've really embodied the past few months, I'd say. And Gina's been a really big part in this, because I was still so addicted to the hustle, thinking it had to be hard. Thinking that, okay, I want to be more successful. Okay, I need to apply more effort. And then what's happened over the past few months is I've invested more in myself and my pleasure. I started a 6-month self-pleasure mastery course, which was all about owning your desires, owning your pleasure. And that's really helped me to get into my feminine and honor like my feminine powers. I used to think that femininity was weak, and I always wanted to like compete with the men and prove I could earn more money than them. And then what was happening was I was attracting the wrong kinds of men. So there's a really great book called The Queen's Code by Alison Armstrong, which helps you to see how to be with men, and they are different, and they're very single-minded. So they want to provide for us, but I wasn't letting any man provide for me. Even if I was at the airport and I had to get my suitcase out of the car and a man offered me, I'd be like, no, I'm fine, I can do it. This independent, don't need anyone. And this is like manufactured manifesting. So that was rippling out in all areas of my life. So if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Where's the magic of the universe coming in to fully support me with this? So receiving, fully stepping into receiving what it is that I'm actually vibrating at and want, because quite often, me personally, I was, manifesting these things, like calling this bigger life, but I wasn't stopping to actually receive them to come in. So I was just chasing them, and there was always a gap. So Abraham Hicks, love them. She always talks about, you humans, you're so focused on the gap. And I was trying to get somewhere. And then I just surrendered, and I was like, feminine is really powerful. I started to honor my womb. I started to understand the different cycles and phases of women, how powerful we are. We are a portal for the next dimension to come through us. Like, seriously, we're incredible. And just knowing that I could do less and be more. And if you'd have told me, like, oh, do less and you'll get more, I was like, no. But it's not saying do nothing, it's do less of the things that you don't need to do. So start delegating. I pay thousands of pounds a month now for a videographer, PA, podcast assistant, a marketing manager. And it allows me to just be me and be in my creative flow, which brings more abundance. So if you're wanting to get ahead and you're doing the dishes and you're making the meals and you're doing all these things, they aren't adding to you becoming and showing up in the world. So really understanding energy and how that's important. And actually, from me resting and valuing rest, when I do go live, when I do a podcast, then I'll show up more in a bigger way. I mean, for example, we've just spent 4 hours in my new villa with the girls making TikTok videos. And I came back to my phone and I have 2 people that want to join my business. And then I've got this podcast with you, and I feel buzzed and amazing, and I'm overflowing with joy because I've been having fun and filling up my cup.
Oh yeah, I can feel that as well. And I remember when I shared my calendar with you, you made me laugh so much, and I took your advice, and it had on Saturday the whole thing blocked out, clean the house, and you just went, well, you can get rid of that straight away. And then that left an imprint on me, because then I went away and I was like, I wonder what she meant by that. And then I just decided to believe that it meant like you shouldn't be, well, not that you shouldn't, but you don't need to be spending a whole day cleaning your house. So then we got a cleaner. Yay. And it helps so much.
Yeah. And when you live a bigger life, okay, so imagine, right? If there's no bucket, imagine your vision like buckets. If your buckets are empty and the vision isn't that big, the universe doesn't need to create the energy and the resources to help you to create it. But the bigger your buckets, the bigger your life, the more the universe gives you energy and opportunities. So I don't ever want to be shrinking and like playing small. I want to keep growing and expanding and being around people who are like multimillionaires. I want to live in these places that are like, more than what I paid the month before, so I'm always, the universe is right, we need to give you more money to live this life.
Yeah.
And so just be mindful, if anyone's listening, like, are you like shrinking yourself to fit in with a budget, or are you creating a powerful vision that is going to magnetize opportunities to you?
Yes, and we don't need to worry about the how yet, which is so hard to do. I get it. And, you know, Wouter, my fiance, obviously he's a man, but we both have masculine and feminine energies, each sex do, but he is in his masculine a lot. And we were talking and walking yesterday, and we always talk about our visions and our goals, and we always support each other. And he said, what is my vision? So I told him, and then he said, and how are you going to do that? And I said, I don't know yet. I'm going to take this aligned action because this feels right, and I don't know the rest. And so he was like wanting to know numbers and percentages, and I don't know that, but I trust that it's going to happen as long as I'm open for the message or for the next aligned action step to take, and I actually take it. That's the important thing. Like, even if it feels scary, or even if, like Kim, you said earlier, like sometimes I'm like, what the hell am I doing? How have I got this business and, like, you know, all these coaching calls booked this week? And then it's just coming back to like gratitude, like I know this is my path, and just taking that aligned action and just keep pushing yourself, but have like faith moving forward and just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And laugh at yourself. Like, I laugh at myself all the time because otherwise you'll cry sometime, which is also fine. Right, Kim, we have about 10 to 15 minutes left. So I'm going to choose a few of my questions that I wrote down. Okay, this is a good one. Talking about self-love, what aspect of self-love that the majority of people don't really see as an act of self-love, but you know in your heart that it's an act of self-love?
I was going to sit with that for a minute because there's so many. Saying no.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. When you say no, you say yes to something else.
Usually yourself.
Yeah, and bigger opportunities and lots of things. Yeah. So, I mean, for example, this weekend got invited to go to a water park with some friends, and I just felt like I wanted to be on myself, go to the market, read my book, just chill. And a part of me was like, massive FOMO, I want to say yes. But my mind was like, but if I go, this could happen and I could make that scarcity again. And I was like, how do I feel right now? What is my desire? And what I mean by that is, what feels more exciting in your body? And it was having some time for me. You know, I just moved house. I wanted to have some spaciousness. So I said, thank you so much for the invite. I'm not available this weekend, but let's meet up in the week for coffee. So saying no.
And that's easier said than done, isn't it? But it's about choosing yourself. Like, I still struggle in this area and I'm getting better and better each day. I do what you do too. Like, imagine both case scenarios, the scenario that I've been asked to do, the scenario of me not doing the thing. And by, you know, Abraham Hicks, everything's happened anyway. Like, each decision has already happened. So you can connect to, like, how did that feel? And then just listen to what feels right. And no thank you is a complete sentence, isn't it?
It is. No and thank you. And just always think, is this coming from obligation or desire? Am I going to this event because I feel like I have to go? Or is it like a desire? Because when you follow the impulse of desire, that's your intuition saying, oh my God, this is going to be so good for you. You might meet someone there. This might happen. And so it's listening to that. And so many times I've done things out of obligation and I've gone, oh, just a bit of resentment for that person when actually it's their fault.
Because the boundary's either been crossed or the boundary wasn't there in the first place. That's where the resentment comes from, isn't it? Yeah. For sure. I love that. And can you give us 5 tips around body image and self-love? Like, I believe they're all intertwined because, you know, as the amazing Genius Wire says, self-love is the key to everything. So I believe they're very closely connected, if not the same. What are the 5 things that you've learned or that you teach that help you to strengthen your self-love and the relationship with your body?
You know, it's really funny actually, because I had a little photo shoot on Friday and I felt really bloated and I was just about to come on my moon. And I found myself going, but if I just worked out for 2 more weeks, should I move the thing because I want to feel good, I want to look amazing? And I was like, Kim, what's the message you want to give out to the world? And I was just like, full joy and acceptance of where I am right now. And I got the photos back and I think I look amazing. And I have a few roles here and there. And I'm just like, I want to share with the world that I have this and I love myself and I'm not going to get airbrushed and photoshopped. And I think the first thing is, for me, it's probably even bigger than myself. The first one is like, I want to help other women to fall in love with themselves. So by me, it's like leading by example and fully embracing all of me. And that comes from, being naked more. Like being naked more in the mirror, loving all parts of me. And there's been so many influencers on Instagram now that, really are doing a great job. Megan Rose Lane is one of my faves. She just talks genuinely about her cellulite. She posts pictures and poses and just makes it so real,
Yeah.
Of course, I still eat healthy. I think self-love is about being loving to your body. So I do eat healthy, but I don't restrict. I live in alignment with Arbonne's 30-day program, which is just a part of my lifestyle now. And I feel so high vibe and I don't want to say in control, but I just feel free. I feel like I have freedom for the first time in a long time, because there's a model like I was not free with food at all. I definitely had lots of issues. And so I feel really free because I had this roadmap to help bring me back to myself and tune into like, what does my body need, and not label anything as good or bad, but more like, how does this make me feel? So like tuning into, okay, do I want to eat the pizza right now? Great. If I do, perfect. This is how I might feel. And then if you eat the salmon and the baked potatoes and the vegetables, okay, I might feel better, just because certain things don't agree with my body and I just feel really bloated and tired. So just tuning into that. Another thing with self-love is just being around sisters and friendships that just support that, who are just there to love you and cheer you on. And I do not have anyone in my life who is not positive and abundant and uplifting anymore. Resting, putting value in rest, knowing that rest is actually income producing.
I love that.
What else do I do for self-love? Oh, I just always put myself first.
I saw that you took yourself on it because you wasn't very well recently, and then you took yourself on, was it like a 2 or 3 day or maybe a week-long retreat, and you were like, do you know what? This is part of my business strategy now. I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Oh my God, it is part of my, say to my team, like, have you had a day off this week? Have you turned your phone off this week? Like, when was the last time you had pleasure? Go and have self-pleasure. Like, go and be with your partner for an evening. Like, oh my God, these things are so important, because a lot of things today are like head information. And the real transformation comes from embodying, like, actually on a cellular level, I can't hustle anymore.
Yeah.
I go like hustle, like a part of me is like, I just want to grind it out and I want to hustle, and my body's like, no. And
feminine,
so what I do,
feminine.
and I'm like, no, the biggest leverage is my alignment. And so tapping into the intuition of my vision, feeling it, being it, coming back to my present reality. Okay, then what's the next step? And that's the process that I go through.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And I would love to know, and I'm sure our listeners as well, how we can work with you, because I know is it launched your group coaching? Like, please share all the things, how we can work with you.
Oh my goodness. So like my little baby, my absolute like movement mission that's bigger than me is Arbonne. It's been the thing that's helped me to transition and evolve and be who I am today. And it's like, I have this amazing vehicle to help people to really flourish in a supportive, caring environment. So if people are looking to become an entrepreneur, you might want to make, thousands and become completely financially free. You might just want to make a couple of £100, be a part of a community. Yeah, reach out to me and we can get you started and get you using some incredible products that will just keep you being high vibe. That's my baby. And then I started one-on-one coaching a few months ago. I'm currently full for one-on-one coaching.
I can imagine, to be honest.
But I'm taking applications. And again, this is another thing, is like, I could keep saying yes to the money, yes to the money, but like, I want to show up fully for my clients. And so like, I've had to max out at like 4, because I have 4 paying coaching clients, and I coach my team privately one-on-one, which is free within Arbonne. So it's a lot of energy. So like, knowing that energy is my essence, I need to protect that. But I have a group coaching program coming out in June.
Oh, perfect timing. I'm going to release this. Well, like the guys listening, obviously it's already released, but on Friday this week.
Oh my God.
Perfect
So
timing.
yeah, it's still brewing, but it's basically called Magnetic.
Oh,
so it's how to tap into your feminine juices, to have life be easy, fun, to do less and have more, and be a magnet for miracles. And just be this person that walks into a room and people go, I don't know what the heck she's on, but I want it.
I love that. Is there a wait list to sign up to, or do they just message you if they're interested in learning more when you know more?
Yeah, message me, sign up to my newsletter list on kimmellor.com, because we're going to be releasing early bird offers in there. And then, yeah, just reach out to me too if you want to do that.
What are you doing the rest of the day? I want to know, and the listeners probably also want to know.
So I'm just going to record a quick podcast myself now, actually, and then I'm going to head to the beach, go for a walk with the girls, have a coconut, go for some food, come back, do a bit more work, go to sleep. Might go on Tinder for a little bit.
The dream. You're a dream. You're an absolute queen in my life, and I'm so blessed to have you in my life, and I cannot wait till I can actually physically see you one day. It's going to happen.
This is so bizarre. Like, I can't believe that we actually, like, I don't get this with a lot of people, but like, as soon as I saw you, I was like, we have known each other for like many lifetimes.
100%. And maybe in this lifetime, because I used to go to Endon Riding School in Stoke-on-Trent all the time.
Oh my God, so did I.
So probably, maybe we like rode next to each other or something. Who knows? I'm more like, let's just gallop and jump across country, bitches. Let's just go.
But, well, can I just honor you for a second and say, Victoria Kleinsman, like, I wish I had someone like you in my life when I was going through all of my eating issues. And thank you for bringing light to darkness in people's worlds, and for really giving people this role model to look up to and aspire to be like. And yeah, if anyone is thinking of working with Victoria, please do not hesitate. Just reach out to her, because your life will transform for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kim. From my bottom of my heart and soul, which is never ending, it's infinite, all the love to you. But thank you so much for your energy, your wisdom, your love, all of it. And I wish you the most amazing afternoon. I love you. Oh, let's do a hashtag and share.
Ooh.
What shall the amazing listeners, when they screenshot us, what shall we have the hashtag as? Oh, magnetic.
Magnet for miracles.
A magnet for miracles. Hell yeah. Yay! Magnet for miracles. So screenshot us, tag me and Kim, and we will reshare. And we appreciate you and we love you. If you want any help from each of us, reach out to us. The love will be there for you, and we'll see you next time. Mwah. Love you.